There seems to be a problem with my live stream. I'm not surprised that the version that's now on YouTube has no volume. Bizarrely, when I played it back to myself, I could hear the volume, including the bin men outside. But hey ho, such is life. Right, here we go. This is covering the same things that the live stream did. And we're going to look at two topics today: product of prime factors, volume of pyramids. Last two questions in higher test 2. Okay, let's look at a question like this. You've got two numbers, but they're written as the product of their prime factors. One is 2 times 3 to the power of m times 5, and the other is 2 to the power of n times 3 times 5 times 7, and we know the lowest common multiple. And our task is to find m, n, a, and b. Right, first things first, we're going to write that lowest common factor, the lowest common multiple as the product of prime factors. So you type it in, and then you press Shift, and then there's a little button with the commas and full stop, if you will, with FACT above it. Here we go. It is 2 to the power of 4 times 3. What did it say? Let's go back to that. 3 to the power of 2. There's a little delay between the change in colours. Times 5 times 7. Now we're going to use that to find m and n, and then work out what a and b are. Right, how can we work out what the powers are? Well, when you create a lowest common multiple, you identify the factors, the prime factors you have to have in it, and if they are both, if they appear in both or all of the numbers, then you take the highest power of that common prime factor. 2 appears in both numbers, so it had to appear in my lowest common multiple, and you take the highest power. The highest power was n. Now, if you look at the number 5040 in prime factor form, its power, the power of 2, is 4. So that must be the value of n. N has to be equal to 4, because it's the higher of 2 powers. Let's do that in operation again with 3. 3 appeared in both numbers. In the bottom number b, it appeared to the power of 1, or it just appeared once. But in the top number a, it appeared to the power of m, and you take the highest power. So m must be 2. Why? Because that's the power of 3 in the lowest common multiple. 5 appeared in both, and it both appeared to the same power. Hence, in the lowest common multiple, it appeared to that same power. And then 7 was included because the bottom number b had a prime factor of 7. So we've now worked out what m and n are. Now, using that, we're going to work out what a is. A is going to be 2 times 3 to the power of 2, because I worked out that m is 2. And then all I've got to do is multiply that out. Type it into the calculator, and there you go. It's 90. The value of a is 90. And then b, similar sort of thing. I'm going to do 2 to the power of 4. It's going to be a lot bigger number, isn't it? Times 3 times 5 times 7. Type all that in. 2 to the power of... You've got to the power of 2 has its own button. To the power of 3 has. To the power of 4 or higher, you press this button with the square. Times 3 times 5 times 7 equals 1,680. There you go. That's how you deal with a question. A question very similar to question 9 in higher test 2. Let's look at the last bit of work. Find the volume of this pyramid. Now, the formula for the volume of a pyramid is a third. It's always a third times the base area times the height. Now let's have a look at my problem here. I haven't got the height. Let's deal with the things that I can deal with first. Can I work out the base area? Yes, I can. The area of that base, it's a square, is going to be 36. So, to work out the volume, it's going to be a third times 36 times this mysterious, unknown h. Now, how do I work that out? Well, I'm going to have to use a bit of trigonometry. If you look here at this triangle, it's a right angle triangle. The height makes an angle of 90 degrees with this line here. So let's draw a little diagram so I can focus on trying to find h, because it's part of a right angle triangle. And it's a right angle triangle in which the angle here is 48 degrees. Problem is, I don't know any of the other lengths. Or do I? Well, if this whole length here is 6, and think about the symmetry of the shape, then it's fairly certain that that must be 3 centimeters. Why fairly certain? Because it's a question that you should be able to, that's been set for you to answer. So there aren't too many tricks here. So what possible value could it take? It's going to take half of this whole length, whole side of the square base. So we put 3 in there. Now, let's see how much of trig we remember. Label the sides. So that's the one opposite. Remember, it's opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is the longest side. That's not involved in this question. There's blank. There's no information I can use or I have to find. So by a process of elimination, this must be A. So let's remind ourselves with SOHCAHTOA. Which of those ratios are we going to use? O and A. And that's the one next to the capital T. So it's going to be the tangent. So you're right, the tan of the angle 48 degrees equals h all over 3 centimeters, or 3, because we're going to put the units at the end. Right, now to finish this, very simply, I'm going to multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of that 3 here. So you get 3 times tan of 48 degrees equals h. And then get that calculator out. 3 times tan 48 equals 3.31 blah 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 blah. Now I'm going to write down 3.33, was it 3.33? Yeah, 1, and then a few dots to show it goes on. And I'll tell you for why. Because if I start rounding it, I'm going to get a less accurate answer. So I'm going to leave this number here on my calculator, so I don't have to type it in again. And let's go back to the original problem. The volume equals a third times 36 times h. Now with multiplication, the order doesn't matter. So I could do h times a third times 36. Why have I done all that? So that I can avoid typing in this number here again. So I do this number here times 1/3 times 36, then press equals 39.982. So the volume is, let's find a clear space, 39.982. See, there's a delay between me clicking on a color and it changing. Not hugely important. And I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places. Now here's the interesting thing. 2 decimal places, I know, nothing really interesting. It becomes 39.99. Had I rounded it to 1 decimal place, I'd have had to make that 9 one bigger, so it becomes 10, and I'd have written it as 40.0. Okay, but generally speaking, in the mark schemes, they would give this final bit here where it's very close to 40. The examiner would be given lots of scope to give you marks if you put 40 down. Okay, I hope this is better than the live stream. Okay, stop and upload this.